appetizer for us because soon we're headed to a frog farm where they have frogs about 10 times this size.
Typically, the frogs are gutted, then marinated with a mixture of fish sauce, soy sauce, sugar, MSG, chili, and garlic before sun-drying for 2 days. Then they're plopped in the fryer.
When you drive around here, especially in the countryside, you'll see vendors selling sun-dried frogs. It's not always the most appetizing. They're kind of mummified and stuck in some mid-jump position. But here, the way they've kind of spiced it up and given some life back to it, looking very nice. Oh, it tastes quite delicious.
Kind of reminds me of Jack Link's beef jerky a little bit, the teriyaki flavor.
True. If you gave this to someone, they would not identify it as frog.
I could see myself packing a bunch of these and going for a hike and breaking them out and eating them like beef jerky.
I think this is a good sign because from here we're headed to a frog farm where we are going to have a multitude of frog dishes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Not only will I be trying frog meat at a frog farm, but shockingly, our countryside chefs will make a dish that includes frog eggs.
I was completely unaware that we were going to be eating frog eggs today.
But first, an awesome amphibian appetizer shared with the farm owner, Som Hang.
This is quite the welcome meal right here. Looking very nice.
But
Yes, he said.
yes.
I'm told it's a stuffed frog, but then it looks like just a torso. Where'd the legs go?
Klon. It's the body.
They stuffed it back into its body?
Yes.
Holy cow, talk about shoving your foot up your ass.
To prepare this dish, the frog feet are removed, and the thighs are separated from the body. These thighs, including the bones, are then finely minced and combined with minced pork. Next, a traditional Khmer herbal paste known as krung, glass noodles, and roasted peanuts. The ingredients are thoroughly pounded using a mortar and pestle. This blend is then used to stuff into the frog's torso before making its way to the grilling station.
This is a very popular Cambodian dish, very quintessential, and Cambodian people love frogs. At every restaurant you go to, you'll see stuffed frogs on the menu.
Oh my God. I gotta say, I'm pretty conflicted.
Really?
Because this is like a big, beautiful bite. You know, it almost looks like some glass noodles with meat. But then when you bite down, you'll quickly notice that there are many, many sharp bones inside.
You just want to chomp down and chew really good.
What I usually like about protein is when you have like a big old turkey drumstick or
Sure.
even a chicken drumstick. That doesn't happen here. All that being said, the skin on the very outside of the torso, that's really nice.
The krung is what gives it that sort of scent.
Totally.
Almost like a lemongrassy floral scent.
The krung has been the theme of this trip so far. It is like the heart of seasoning or adding flavor to Cambodian food. You own a frog farm. This should be sacrilegious. I mean, you can't get high on your own supply. So how often are you actually eating frog?
So he said that because he raises frogs, he actually doesn't eat it much.
Previously a construction worker, Som Han was inspired by success stories in the frog farming industry. Then he decided to start his own.
I kind of want to get into the process, and I also want to learn the reason that you're doing this, why you want to have the farm, but also why people in Cambodia want the frog meat.
Each pen houses frogs at different life stages. Frog life begins when the female lays eggs and the male fertilizes them. Som Han separates the resulting eggs from the adult frogs, and in just a few days, tadpoles emerge.
After 30 days, they lose their tail and they turn into little frogs. And then they move them to the next pen.
For 3 months, they're nourished with a diet of rice and egg yolks until they reach market size.
He started with about 30 pairs. And now he has over 1,000 pairs.
Then males and females are placed in separate pens, marking the start of a new life cycle.
These are the males. Let's pick one up so people can see it. Okay. All right, wow. Take a look at this guy. Huge. He weighs over a pound, I assume.
The most profitable aspect of this business is selling pairs of frogs to other farmers for breeding purposes.
What is the difference between an eating frog and a breeding frog?
It's not much difference. It's just some you keep longer so that you can sell as breeders and others you eat. You get about $3 for a kilo of frogs versus pigs, you get about $1.50.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. So perhaps this will be a trend that continues into the future. You know, Greta Thunberg, she's out there. She's upset cattle are releasing flatulence, but frogs don't fart, I don't think.
No, I don't see any bubbles.
And so perhaps this could be a future meat source for the world.
We could be having frog barbecues instead of pig barbecues.
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
Together.
If you thought these male frogs were big,
He's picked it up.
wait until you see the ladies.
Oh, this one looks huge.
Often almost double the weight of the males,
Oh, whoa. It's very slimy.
with some tipping the scales at as much as 3 pounds. But these beastly beauties reach peak mass when they're carrying eggs.
Are these giant females being sold for food?
They will buy them to eat them, but typically they won't because they're so expensive. 4 times as much.
Because you and I are going to be eating some females in a giant frog stew.
I've never had a pregnant frog.
Yeah, and I don't know, are they all pregnant? I
I mean,
don't want people online to judge me.
yeah, they're all pregnant. They're all pregnant.
For this recipe, certain parts of the frog like the head, skin, and guts are set aside, leaving the body, legs, intestines, and another soon-to-be-revealed part for cooking. Begin by placing garlic, galangal, kaffir lime leaves, and lemongrass into a pot. Season with salt, chicken bouillon, fish sauce, and sugar. Then add the frog pieces and boil. For the final flourish, stir in pickled lime, onion, some chilies, and culantro to enhance the flavors.
This is more what I imagined when I thought eating frog in Cambodia. Big old chunks of hip, quadricep, calves, forearms, some biceps, and then of course there's also some skin. Wait, is that skin? Oh, that's egg?
That's the egg.
Holy shit. This is epic. This is wild. One frog has about how many eggs, you think?
Maybe 10,000.
You speak English this whole time? I was talking so much shit behind his back.
Joining us, friend and fellow frog farmer, Chia Chanda.
Oh, wow. I feel like this frog got a Brazilian butt lift. That's satisfying. Big, meaty, fleshy, soft, succulent.
Tastes like chicken.
I think it's something between chicken and fish. It's got like that bold, thick meatiness of chicken without all that flakiness of fish.
And the broth here is what really shines. Because of the pickled limes, gives it a nice sour punch.
Oh, that's a great flavor. I always say for people who are trying to be a little bit more adventurous with their palate, I mean, this is like a 1 out of 10 on the craziness scale. That being said, this right here, I have no idea about. These would have been laid shortly, and soon those would have turned into tadpoles. Have you eaten this before? Bah, have you eaten this before? No, he's just saying what he's This guy doesn't know English. Does he know what I'm saying?
No.
I knew it! Very fatty, kind of sticky, not a lot of flavor. I thought it would be more
No.
swampy or something.
It has a weird texture, slightly mushy.
Sticky and fatty, but mainly it's absorbed the delicious flavors of the broth.
It's really good, actually.
I think it's pretty tasty. I like it. How much to open a frog farm? I think I'm in. Do you think it takes less energy to raise a frog than to raise a cow?
Most definitely.
Okay, I think this is a groundbreaking discovery. We have one guy in Cambodia who says it takes less energy to raise a frog than to raise a cow. For me, that's good enough.
Me too.
But that's frogs, and not everybody wants to eat frogs.
No.
There's another alternative. Rats.
When you hear the word rat, the words food or dinner are unlikely to follow. These creatures are associated with city streets, sewers, and perhaps a plague or two. But what if rats were raised in conditions akin to cattle, fed on a select diet similar to that of pigs or chickens? The result would be exactly what you see here. Across various parts of Asia, rats aren't just seen as a survival food, but as a genuine delicacy. To learn more, we've come to a countryside rat farm in Battambang,
Could you go get your fattest rats?
where this farmer is raising over 1,000 rats under careful, controlled conditions.
Oh my God, that is wild.
Mui Chalmert has been involved in rat farming for over a decade.
I thought New York City rats were like the biggest of the big because I assume they did steroids in the sewer. But this rat, it's big, it's bulky, it has large drooping balls.
They call it kadal prang, which is a generic term for rat.
He was first inspired and intrigued by the rat meat he tried in Thailand while spending time there as a construction worker.
You can pet it, but just stay away from its mouth.
How heavy do you think this rat is?
1.5 kilos.
3-pound rat. This rat probably has an eating disorder.
Most of his customers are either rat farmers, food vendors, or people who happen to catch his flashy rat billboard as they drive by.
What is the process of raising the rat from a little baby rat to a monster like this?
They set up the areas for the rats to do their thing.
Intercourse.
After about 25 days or so, they have their babies, and then in about 3 months, they get to about this size, and that's when they can sell them. And they feed them a combination of corn, rice stalk, pig feed,
Old pizza crust.
anything that's available.
However, if you thought these rats were big, wait till you see what else he has in store.
He grabs it by the tail. It looks ridiculous. It's so huge.
This is a bamboo rat, typically found in self-dug burrows near bamboo thickets.
Can I hold it?
Bamboo rats need only 3 months to reach their adult size, breaking the scales at 6 pounds.
Earlier he told me if it's gonna bite you, point its face towards the ground.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do I know if it's gonna bite me?
You say when it opens its mouth.
Oh, okay, which I cannot see from this angle. I'm guessing you can sell the bamboo rats for a lot more money, right?
Yeah.
Why not just raise these giant bamboo rats?
These are more expensive, and most people won't buy it.
Too expensive.
Too expensive, right.
For the average market. We are sadly not going to be eating one of these today. I've had this in the past. I've had it in a hot pot. I think I even had something like this in Nigeria. But today, I want to focus on that common rat. You ready?
I'm ready.
To prepare the rat, the farmer first employs a unique method to remove the fur, using hot wax in lieu of hot water. The wax isn't cheap, but the results are impressive. Every last hair is removed, which is important since we'll soon be eating the prized rat skin. Think of it like a mini rotisserie pig.
Is that a common technique employed?
He learned it on YouTube.
No way.
After waxing, the rat is cleaned and its appendages and innards are removed. Now they're ready for marination. The marination is a blend of crushed pepper, shallots, garlic, MSG, chicken bouillon, home sugar, Chinese black bean sauce, and oyster sauce, all thoroughly mixed before being applied to the rats. From here, the rats will be cooked two ways. Course 1, roasted rats, secured inside a roasting net, then placed inside a sweltering clay pot over charcoal for hours until the fat renders down and the delectable rat meat becomes juicy.
A little story, some history.
It smells like chicken thigh meat, a bit fatty and freshly roasted. Can I just grab it by the leg?
Sure.
Or you can grab it by the tail, which is stuck to its body.
Doesn't care what people think.
Thin pig skin on the back. It does look like crispy cracklings.
Wow. This one is kind of juicy.
That's ridiculously good.
It's actually really good.
It's very fatty. It tastes like it's almost been caramelized by roasting for so long. And then here we have the actual backstraps, the tenderloin. Oh yeah, it's slightly dry, but with like a slick of oil on the outside. Let me hit it with this country sauce.
That is a ripe tamarind paste with chili peppers and vinegar.
That's good. I almost can't believe it's rat. It's so tender, it's like falling off the bone. I mean, this goes beyond like survival food. If I lived in the country, I'd be like, oh my God, is it rat night tonight, please?
Especially in Battambang, it's a special treat to have rat. Even kids love it.
I guess the reason people get disgusted in the US is because their interactions with rats are in the city, they eat trash, and they're scurrying around in dirty areas. But I guess growing up, I had pet rats for a short period of time, so I thought they were cute. And coming to the countryside, it just made sense that it's not like a dirty, repulsive animal. Especially here, it's farm raised, and the way he's roasted it with time, care, and precision, it's good.
It's really transformed it into something that you wouldn't believe.
So that was our roasted rat. Now we're gonna try.
For course 2, grilled rats. Each rat is clamped between two wooden stakes, then grilled over charcoal, resulting in crispy skin imbued with charred flavors.
I'm gonna peel these wood skewers or clamps off of here. I mean, the skin is so fatty, it's literally sticking to the skewers, just like pork skin would. The tail,
You can eat it.
that's a bit much. Really? He eats the tail?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very gelatinous.
A lot of bones. The skin just peels right off. I mean, this is like 5-star countryside cooking right here. It's just dripping
With fat, yeah.
in oily goodness. I can't believe it. Bro.
Wow.
World-class rat.
That's freaking good.
It's almost like too much fat. It is so juicy and fatty. So probably I do prefer the roasted one a bit more.
Right, you're running out a lot more of that fat.
But with both, I literally cannot believe my taste buds right now. I feel like I'm being deceived.
I am very surprised. I've eaten a lot of rat, but mostly field rats from the countryside, but they're nowhere near as fatty and as juicy as this.
Yeah, they're basically homeless rats compared to these.
Exactly.
At the beginning of this episode, I was speaking on how rat farms could potentially save the world. There's a big problem out there, climate change. People are upset about cows. They have flatulence. And somehow that's making the earth hot. And so what some people think we should do is eat less cows or eat less meat in general. But I say rats could save the world because rats are much more efficient as a means of producing meat or protein for people. My question to you, sir, is do you think it is a lot more efficient regarding resources to raise a rat for meat than to raise a cow?
Trong vậy tham nhóm con nhóm phሎም cho em cô đã.
So Moiran actually used to raise cows. He said that raising cows requires a lot more effort, a lot more time. They create a lot of bio waste. The difference is that rats breed very fast. It takes up a lot less room, and it's a lot more efficient to raise rats.
Here's the problem. My American brothers and sisters are, I hate to say this, they're disgusted by rat meat. They find it very off-putting. And so right now you had the chance to speak directly to my audience and tell them why they shouldn't be revolted by rat meat.
Trong cái ta trong ở Đạp Nha là người ta chia chôn.
If you raise the rats properly, you don't going out and catching rats somewhere, you don't know where it's coming from, so you don't have to worry because this is meat just like any other meat. It's healthy just as if you were raising pigs, and plus it's delicious.